Blog Talk Radio. Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Wellness Coach on Blogtalk Radio. I'm your host, Edie Summers, and my guest today is George Grant. George is a vocalist-percussionist who has used his diverse background in world music, jazz fusion, improvisation, sacred vocal music, and meditation to develop alternatives in music as meditation, self-healing, stress reduction, team building, and life skills. And today we are going to be recording this as an audio blog for George and his newsletter on YouTube. So, George, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Are you there?
Hi, Edie.
Hi, George. How are you?
Great. It's great to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you too. And George, we were talking a little bit earlier and about how music we've sort of gotten so commercial, right? And I know that what you do is taking music beyond all of the normal perceptions of what we even perceive music to be. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how we can use music as a tool for self-healing.
Well, I have a background as a professional musician. I was in college, and I grew up with it all, and I've been very, very lucky to perform with virtuosos, and I just get the biggest thrill and fulfillment out of working with people and using this process of the language of music for prayer and meditation. And instead of training to be on stage and to compete and to get the gig and to win the audition, we can use music as this simple, prayerful, meditative thing that calms down our brain and opens up our heart. And I just get personally, I love to do this, but I also like to help people do it, who are new to this, and everybody can do this. You do not need to be Bobby McFerrin or Chick Corea. Anybody and everybody can do this.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you offer Skype sessions, right? And people can find out about that through one of your websites is thepathofmusic.com. Is that correct?
Yes, thepathofmusic.com.
Thepathofmusic.com.
It's just amazing. We might have thought that this would be some kind of eclectic, fringy thing, but many, many people are teaching music lessons on the internet now with Skype. It works out really well.
I think that's so great. And go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm teaching many different instruments. People who have a background in guitar or harp or piano, and because I'm teaching improvisation, and so I don't need to play the piano to teach them improvisation. I'm not teaching technique. I'm teaching improvisation to some people, and also to other people just purely vocal toning and the sound healing, which is like this art of sonic massage, feeling music resonate your body. So that's more like a yoga Tai Chi experience than becoming a musician.
And so, George, could you tell us a little bit more about what exactly is vocal toning? I know you were just describing some of it right there, but I know you and I were talking about earlier that in our own little conversation that you don't use words. And can you differentiate between vocal toning and music and just sort of what that whole process is about?
Yeah, singing in music and improvisation, these are scary words, okay? They can, put people on red alert. And actually, music educators, I was an artist in education for full-time for almost 13 years, I think. Music educators don't like the word improvisation because it scares them. The word music is considered scary. Singing is scary to some people. Well, vocal toning is not singing because we don't have to sing a song. We're not going to learn a song. We're not going to rehearse a song. There's nothing to get right. We just do oohs and ahs, and we just breathe and make these long, elongated vowel sounds. But at that point of comfort, we can naturally fall into harmony and melody and this other language of music, which is not verbal language, but there's this whole universe of melody and harmony and sometimes rhythm. But rhythm is tricky business. But harmony and melody come almost intuitively in our group vocal toning sessions. Without even trying to do it, you will do it naturally.
Wow. And are you saying...
Sense?
I think it does, actually. It intuitively makes sense to me. And you were talking about how this can help to with health issues, like it can calm down your brain and like help with stress reduction. Could you tell us more about how vocal toning can benefit your health?
I heard this recording from Dr. Wheel, who's one of these top MDs involved with alternative medicine. I'm sure that many of your listeners have heard of this man. And I think he's in Arizona. And he said in this lecture that breathing was the number one go-to modality that he uses to help people with all these various health modality alternatives.
Yes.
Breathing is the number one thing. Well, what could be more about breathing than vocal toning?
Wow.
We breathe naturally and deeply, and because music activates all centers of the brain, nonverbal music, actually, if there's a little bit of verbal music, that even activates the language brain. But music is this amazing brain activity that, combined with the breathing, kind of charms us into this naturally open, naturally meditative place where there's enormous health benefits. And so breathing is the very first thing.
Wow. And it's so funny that you should say that, George, because I sort of just discovered this myself through a form of biofeedback where you can, it was something called heart math, where you can learn to, through breath, bring your body back from the fight or flight place that most of us live in, that stress response most of us are in, and back to parasympathetic, which is the relaxation response, which is where healing takes place. So Dr. Weil was very wise in saying that, but I love how you say that music is a combination of both breath and also what is probably the most powerful force in the universe by chance, don't you think? Music?
Yes, the nervous system, our nervous system is this place in breath. I think the word spirit means breath if you translate it back. And, it's the place where everything meets. It's the place where all of our functions as these incredible human beings that we are, it all meets right there at breath. I mean, the science of meditation is the science of breath. And how your breath is how you are. And how your breath is how your mind and your thinking is. And so if we can deal with emotion before it gets out of control, we can prevent half of the health problems. Many of these problems that we have in health emergencies are because our emotions and our habits have been out of control for too long, and now this shows up as a physical ailment. And, Louise Hay and Carol Truman have talked about this. Well, music is this place, vocal toning, where we can breathe and let emotion be and feel it and let it be and let it go and flow instead of getting stuck. And so, most of the time we spend a lot of money when we have a crisis. And so we go to the emergency room or whatever we got to do if we get massage or different kinds of therapies. But singing is this little thing where no one would ever think of how amazingly powerful this is, but yet every religion uses some form of singing at the core of the spiritual practice.
Wow.
I mean, it's no mystery, and it shows up everywhere in all cultures, in all periods and epochs. I mean, from the farthest back, to the most modern times. The power of the human voice, I think it's the most powerful instrument. I used to be a drummer. I still am. But,
right, and you have your website.
Voice kind of overtook it because voice and drumming and – what's that?
Well, you said voice overtook it. That's funny.
Yeah, I was teaching and working with my students and teaching them drumming, and mostly for, non-performance purposes, meditation, and we just – in myself and in all my students, the voice just became this more powerful place where amazing things happened. And little by little, I feel more freedom from singing than I do drumming. And, you know, I play quite a few different drums and have played with some very, very amazing diversity of musicians. But the voice, it just feels like you're a bird. It feels like flying.
And on that note, George, we're going to mention your websites, and then I'm going to play a little bit of this vocal toning on our way out so people can actually hear what we're talking about. Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. So I'm just going to mention your websites. You were talking about the drumming, so you also have drumtalk.com. Is that correct?
Drumtalk.com.
Drumtalk.com.
That's one word.
That's one word. And your other website is thepathofmusic.com.
Thank you. Yes.
That's wonderful.
And let's hear what yours is.
Oh, that's right. Well, for anyone, I'm a wellness coach. My website is portlandwellnesscoach.com. So, and I help people with behavioral change, which is kind of similar to what we're talking about here. It's all about reducing stress and getting empowered about your health. So I'm just going to thank you so much, George. This is really enlightening, and we're going to be doing a whole hour of this, right, on my radio show coming up here really soon. So if people want to tune back in on June 10th, we're going to do a whole hour of freedom through vocal toning with George Grant. And in the meantime, here's a little taste of what we've been talking about today. Thanks so much, George.
Thanks, Edie.
Do